You are now listening to the Highly Evolved Podcast with your host, Safan. Transmission will commence momentarily.
How you guys doing? This is the Highly Evolved Podcast. My name is Stefan. You can find me on Twitter and gab.ai. Before I start, I just want to say this is a Real American Patriot channel for Real American Patriot. If you're not a Real American Patriot, please exit the channel. And on that note, let me start the podcast. All right. In this episode, I want to discuss what happened in Tucker Carlson's show that he was discussing on Beto O'Rourke. He was on the View, and he was going on his apologizing tour, right? Somewhat reminiscent of Barack Obama when he went on tour, tried to apologize to all the nation, right? I want to read this article of what he said about these Democratic candidates who go on these apologizing tour and what I think about it and my thoughts and feeling about it. The articles went on saying that, hold on, before I say anything, I'll leave the article in the description below if you want to read it out. But let's start the article. The article saying Tucker hits 2020 Dems for apologizing over previous opinions. Fox News Carlson Daily attacked 2020 Democratic candidate who have apologized for old comments, action for opinions, in fear that other of the party could turn them during Carlson opening monologue Tuesday night. All right, Carlson specifically called out former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke, South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Butt, New York Senator Christian Gillibrand, California Senator Kamala Harris, Vice President Joe Biden, Vermont Bernie Sanders, and Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota. All right, all these Democrat candidates that I just mentioned, they all went on apologizing. All right, weak people. All right. These people, but I'll get back on my opinion when I finish this article, but let's continue. Carlson began by criticizing Buttigieg, who previously said that all lives matter when those year-old comment resurfaced. Buttigieg told reporter that since learning about how that phrase is being used and pushed on that activist, I have stopped using the context. Yeah, but you use it. You know clearly what that phrase mean. He tried to lie. He tried weasel his way out, that weasel Buttigieg, whatever his name is. Then let's continue. He went on to criticizing Gillibrand for apologizing, Tucker Carlson, for previous supporting stronger border security, as well as former Vice President Joe Biden, who apologized for his frequent touching earlier this year. Quote, we could go on and on for an orgy of apology. Kamala Harris apologized for putting on criminal in jail. Bernie Sanders apologizing for how women were treated in the last campaign, even as he denied they were mistreated, quote, Carlson stated. Amy Klobuchar apologized for wanting pizza in school lunches, etc. Tomorrow, all of them will be apologizing for something new. In a world where about forgiveness is a cycle and will continue forever. The left has become a kind of rolling inquisition and bottomless apathy for rituals, punishment, and humiliations. Tell us you have been naughty. Thank you, sir. May I have another? This is sick. These people have no dignity and have no self-respect. He continued. There is nothing they want to say, nothing they want to admit, whether it is true or not. They despite themselves. Be careful of people like that. They're likely to feel the same way about you. All right, and here's my thought and feeling. All right, here's my thought and feeling. These people are spineless, right? In order to be a leader, you have to be a strong leader, right? What kind of strong leader go out and apologize for what he did previously? When you made a decision, you made a decision. So at least stand by your decision. Be strong and stand by what you mean. That's what people want in a leader. People who's a person of their words. All right. How are you strong and keep apologizing for things that doesn't mean? And how do we know that your apology is sincere and legitimate? All right. How do we know that a policy is not trying to buy votes? All right. Their apology. But let me play if you want to hear the clip. Let me play the clip for you guys. But you could.
Beto O'Rourke, we are sad to tell you, has changed. He's not the boyish, carefree road tripper with the primo weed hookup you might remember from just a few months ago. That Beto is gone, maybe forever. The new Beto is far more serious, even angry. What's the new Beto mad about? Well, climate change, obviously, and border walls, and bigotry, and uptight old people who don't understand that skateboarding is not a crime. Also, that buzzkill Pete Buttigieg, or whatever his name is, who snuck up and stole his spot in the presidential rankings. That was annoying as hell. But mostly what Beto is mad at is Beto. Beto's had some free time recently, being unemployed, so he looked inside and came to the conclusion that actually he's a pretty mediocre person, not a good guy at all, pretty much an awful human being. Most people would keep that knowledge to themselves. Not Beto. He went on The View today to tell everyone.
You did a Vanity Fair cover to announce your campaign, and you said you were, quote, born to be in it. You went across the country alone on a road trip after you lost your election, and you said you, quote, sometimes help raise your kids. These are things in my mind that a female candidate wouldn't be able to get away with. Do you think you can get away with more because you're a man? And do you have any regrets about launching on the cover of Vanity Fair?
You're right. There are things that I have been privileged to do in my life that others cannot.
You're right, said Beto. Male privilege is real. I should know. All those cool, fun things I've done in my life, I only did them because I'm a man. And I feel bad about that. So bad that I've had a committee of diversity consultants draft an awkwardly written statement of moral culpability, which I will now read to you with feigned sincerity in the hope that it's sufficient atonement for my sins. Here we go.
The systematic, foundational discrimination that we have in this country, in every aspect of life, is something that I have not experienced in my lifetime. And I've had advantages that others could not enjoy.
Yeah, so that clears that up. In case you thought that Beto might be suffering from systematic foundational discrimination in every aspect of his life, now you know the truth. He's not. And he's deeply ashamed of that, because it's morally superior to be discriminated against, as the rich and pampered ladies of The View, who are also somehow victims, can and will tell you. But whatever, Beto can't help it if people don't hate him for who he is. That's the downside of privilege. People like you too much. All Beto can do is try harder to be despised as much as he despises himself, which he has pledged to do.
I have my work cut out for me to be a better person and ensure that I'm more mindful to the experiences that others have had, different than the experiences that I've had.
You regret the Vanity Fair cover?
Are those mistakes? Would you say those are mistakes, being on the cover of Vanity Fair?
Yeah, so Megan...
It looks elitist? What?
I think it reinforces that perception of privilege. And that headline that said I was born to be in this, in the article was attempting to say that I felt that my calling was in public service. No one is born to be president of the United States of America, least of all me.
What about the part-time dad thing?
Yeah, so
You
listen.
got some flack for that one.
Absolutely, and I deserved it.
I deserved it. Just so we're clear on this, the lady who makes millions talking about herself on a TV show every day disapproves of Beto appearing on a magazine cover because it's, quote, elitist. And Beto fervently agrees with her. Of course he does. There is no criticism of Beto that Beto does not agree with. Back in March, he apologized profusely for saying that his wife had raised their 3 kids. Do you even know how patriarchal that sounds? Beto does. And he's really, truly, sincerely sorry he said it.
Not only will I not say that again, but I'll be much more thoughtful going forward in the way that I talk about our marriage, and also the way in which I acknowledge the truth of the criticism that I have enjoyed white privilege.
I have enjoyed white privilege. There you go. He acknowledged it. Thank you, Mr. O'Rourke, for your candor. But the real question is, how much did you enjoy white privilege? We'll get to those details in our next round of questioning. But in the meantime, we don't want to give you the impression that Beto is the only one groveling here. Far from it. They all are. For Democrats in 2019, to run is to grovel. Here's Mayor Pete of South Bend remembering with sadness and horror the one time years ago when he suggested that all human life had value. How could he have been so stupid and cruel?
2015, you said that all lives matter when you spoke about 2 police controversies that were happening in South Bend. Was that a mistake?
What I did not understand at that time was that phrase, just early into mid, especially 2015, was coming to be viewed as a sort of counter slogan to Black Lives Matter. And so this statement that seems very anodyne and something that's kind of nobody could be against actually wound up being used to devalue what the Black Lives Matter movement was telling us. Since learning about how that phrase was being used to push back on that activism, I've stopped using it in that context.
Yeah, how could I have been so stupid? And here's Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York calling in artillery on her own position after an NBC researcher discovered that she had once supported national borders. Seriously.
You essentially said that you were embarrassed about your previous position on immigration. Tell me about that.
Well, I don't think it was driven from my heart. I was callous to the suffering of families who want to be with their loved ones, people who want to be reunited with their families. And I recognize, as we all do, that immigration and diversity is our strength as a country. I really regretted that I didn't look beyond my district and talk about why this is an important part of the United States story.
I was callous. I was heartless. Don't hate me. I hate myself enough. Well, thank you for sharing, Kirsten. Good luck with your self-esteem issues. Joe Biden is a good quarter century older than Senator Gillibrand, who herself is older than a lot of the Democratic candidates. So you'd think Biden would be old enough he would have earned the right not to say he's sorry. But think again, age is now itself something to apologize for, and Biden did. Biden grew up at a time before human warmth was reclassified as a criminal act, and he's very, very sorry for that.
Social norms have begun to change, they've shifted, and the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset. And I get it. I hear what they're saying. I will be more mindful and respectful of people's personal space.
We could go on with the orgy of apology. Kamala Harris apologizing for putting criminals in jail. Bernie Sanders apologizing for how women were treated on his last campaign, even as he denied they were mistreated. Amy Klobuchar apologizing for once wanting pizza in school lunches, etc. Tomorrow, all of them will be apologizing for something new. In a world without forgiveness, this is a cycle that continues forever. No self-abasement is ever enough. The left has become a kind of rolling inquisition with a bottomless appetite for ritual punishment and humiliation. Tell us you've been naughty. Thank you, sir. May I have another? This is sick. These people have no dignity. They have no self-respect. There is nothing they won't say, nothing they won't admit to, whether it's true or not. They despise themselves. Be careful of people like that. They're likely to feel the same way about you.
If you live in the Anaheim...
Okay, there you go. That video. I'll link the video in the description below. But basically, these Democrats are not worthy of getting your vote. You should not vote for these people. They apologize to get votes. They're liars. They're masterful liars. See, when people point out their mistakes, they are apologizing without thinking about what they're apologizing for. They're just saying that to get votes. Okay? That's what they're doing. All right? How do we know that their apology are sincere enough? How do we know that they're not going to go back on the words, right? Like I said, the Democrats are masterful liars, right? They're liars. You should not listen to them, all right? And to make it worse, they're weak. They're weak people, all right? Don't you want a leader who's strong, meant what he said, all right? Meant what he said and say what he meant, all right? We want that kind of leader. A leader is strong. Don't go. We already have a leader who went on an apologizing spree. It's called the Obama administration. His whole 8 years, he just apologized for our mistakes. And how the heck is that supposed to show our dominance amongst the world eyes? It doesn't. It just makes us look weak around the world for apologizing, something that we unequivocally did and meant it. All right, winning a war. Why should we apologize for winning a war? It's to stop evil. All right? Because of this, these Democrats are weak-willed. They're weak people. They are not leader material. All right? Do not vote for Democrats. All right? Why would you want a weak leader? Don't you want a strong leader so nobody will intimidate you? Don't you want a strong president that no other country could walk around and take advantage of the United States? All right? That's what happened when Barack Obama was in office for 8 years. All right? He let Cuba walk over the United States. All right, you remember the infamous photo where Raul Castro held on Barack Obama's hand and it was like this? That's weak. Barack Obama was let his hand dangling like that. What a weak individual. All right, you remember the time when Barack Obama went to China and they wouldn't even roll the red carpet out for Barack Obama? He's a weak individual, and you do not want that. You do not want a weak individual, a weak leader. If you have a weak leader, everybody gonna walk all over you. All right, it's like a bully and a it's like the bully analogy. All right, if you're weak to a bully, the bully will always take advantage of you. You have to be strong and beat the bully up so they won't take advantage of you. Okay? In order to counter the bully, you have to fight fire with fire. You got to beat them up. Just so you're strong and you take the bully down. All right? These people are not strong. They're weak. They're lying to you just to get votes. All right? And they're stupid. They don't know how to run a campaign. And you got to be so stupid to be a Democrat. All right? I'm not saying I'm a Republican or anything. I'm an independent. But at the way they're going right now, they're making me becoming a Republican. All right? That's the reason why I'm still more conservative, because the way they act. Democrat was not like this 20 years ago. They used to be the party of the people. The party of free speech. Okay? The party of whatever they were, right? And now they changed completely. Now they want to ban free speech, tell people what to say, apologize. This would get me so furiated with Democrats. All right? I do not, because of this, I lost all respect for Democrats. I don't know anybody who considers themselves smart would consider themselves as a Democrat. They're evil. They're an evil party right now. You should not vote. They're not going to win the 2020 election. Donald Trump will walk all over them. All right? Go on this apologies for Beto O'Rourke apologizing for for being a guy. What the heck? Have some spine, man. We need a leader who could hold his word, stand his ground. Don't back down. All right? And these Democrats are all exemplifying a weak will, a weak to surrender. If they surrender to people like this, what makes you think they're not going to surrender to our enemies? All right? If they apologize for what they said, that means they're weak and they will surrender to enemies and apologize to them. We do not want to surrender to our enemies. Democrats should not win this year's election. I'll make it my goal, my mission. They should not win 2020. This channel is dedicated to bash the Democrats from not winning, to promote people from not voting for Democrats. They could vote for anybody they want. They could vote for the Reform Party, the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, except for the Democrats. Anybody else is better than the Democrats. The Libertarians is better than the Democrats. Don't vote for these people. I'm showing how passionate I am. I mean, from here, this channel is going to be a anti-democratic channel. Pro-liberty, pro-freedom channel. All-American. All right? And they make me so mad because of this. Go on a apologizing tour. Doesn't make any sense. Why are you apologizing? Stand by your words. Meant what you say and say what you meant. Don't back down. You said it, you said it. Don't pull back. They're flip-flopping. See, they're flip-flopping big time. That's what the Democrats are, a bunch of sissies. They like to change, when the odds are against them, they like to apologize and try to win people votes, people favor back. No, just stand your ground. I like a person. I like my leader to say what he meant and meant what he said. I like my leader to be strong. I like my leader not to be intimidated by reporters, not to be intimidated by his past. All right, it happened, it happens. All right, but on that note, guys, this is an anti-democratic channel. Because of that, YouTube has not decided not to monetize my channel. So that means I'm not bounded by anybody. I'm not being held back. I'm unrestricted, unrehearsed, unedited. That means I can say whatever the heck I want to say without being bounded by outside interference. Okay? And if you like what I do, please follow me on social media, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Because when you subscribe, it tells me that you're watching my videos, and it encourages me to make more videos so I could get it out to the mass audience. All right? You don't have to donate. I'm not here to get any donations. I'm not taking any donations. I just want to get my message across to as much platform as possible, as much people as possible. Tell them to not to vote for Democrat. That's my main objective. Not to get money, not to get fame. All right? If you want to support me, please subscribe. And I don't know, guys, let me know what you think. You think the Democrats are weak, cowards, callous, no spine? Let me know you agree. Leave a comment below. This is the HighlyEvolvedPodcast. My name is Stefan. Thanks for listening to this video, and I'm signing out. Once again, thank you.